All right, already.
All right, so
Time to rock out. Oh, I can turn this off too.
you just go ahead and just restart. Restart.
Yeah, it seemed like it was kind of.
Because my jack is kind of messed up.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, so the project I chose to do was Diablo 3, but instead of focusing on either the PC or the console version, I chose to do the differences that Blizzard chose to make in both. So, a little epicness. First of all, their artwork just is mind-blowing throughout the entire process, though. So I always love that. So yeah. So the game I have is actually the PS3 version.
Down a little bit so they can hear.
Make that kind of loud there.
Not too epic.
Yeah, not too epic. So I actually based this off the PS3 version, which I own, and me and Brandon actually played it a lot, and it was pretty fun. But so what they chose to take out was the online all the time feature, and that kind of ruined it and took it away from past Diablo games because they had great LAN experiences and everything like that, and single offline player modes. And being online all the time meant it was just it kind of felt forced that you had to be interacting with everybody else. Another feature that was online all the time was the real money auction houses, and I'll demonstrate that in a moment. But what that was actual money from your pocket that you had to pay to buy gear in the game, and players online didn't really appreciate that. And another problem they had was copious amounts of loot that was absolute garbage. Like, you would go days without finding anything that was worth keeping. And anytime you did find something, it would go straight to the auction house and you would have to buy it with actual cash. So here's what one of the auction houses looks like. As you can see, they show DPS, the bid amount, buyout amount, and the time left for the sale. And this is probably the PC's version. It's its best way of getting like good loot. So that totally distracted from crafting and other things like that. So its removal caused console players to find better loot more often, and they changed that up. And more focus on crafting items, which involved salvaging. And the salvaging feature meant you had to take like purples and yellows, and you got to destroy them to recreate better loot. So by taking out the auction house, they actually forced the player to focus on that more, which was an awesome feature in the game. And it was really enjoyable to try and see what you could recreate, because anytime you made something, it would be like a new stat each time, and it would really help you out throughout the game.
Did the in-game money auction house, did that go out too?
Yeah, they took that out.
Oh.
So there's no auction houses on console anymore.
Oh.
Because players, they would hoard gold as well, and they would basically just put anything good on the auction house to earn money. Or not gold, I should say, actual money. I keep thinking in game, but it's real live money. So, what was added into the console version was it was rebalanced with better loot, and that most people online say it's compared to the patch, the 2.0 patch for the PC version, and the inventory management system is enhanced. There's local co-op on the same screen, and the right analog stick controls the dodge roll. Now, the inventory system. So this is what the PC version looked like, and as you can see, it's not too appealing to the eye. It's blocky. It's not smooth. It just takes away from like getting into the game. You know, it's kind of just like it breaks you out of that mode. that mode of you're in this position. And what the console version did was they made it a lot smoother and a lot quicker. So basically, with the wheel system right here, you just have to choose it with the analog stick, and you can get right to like what you need to do. It's just like press like one button after that, and then it's on, it's equipped, and then you're good to go. And that's not even like the best part about their new inventory management system. Like that's if you want to spend a little more time on it. But here comes the best part, the quick equip. So as you can see, you'll see the item come up right there. And the two green arrows right there represented how good it is or how much better it is than the item you have equipped. Okay, so now you can press the up key on the D-pad, and it would automatically equip the item to the spot you want it.
That's cool.
And that creates tight pacing, and it just allows you can do it in battle too. So, I mean, you can be adding better gear while you're fighting hordes of monsters. And the whole thing about Diablo is fighting the creatures and destroying massive amounts of creatures. So this just lets you just keep going and just keep getting better as you're fighting. So it really helps with the flow of the game as well.
How do they suggest what's better or not? Is it based on DPS or more than that?
Yeah, it's based on, well, as you can see, there's a sword, the shield, and the heart. So the heart kind of represents like agility and stuff like that, and other things that would help, or health as well. Shield is armor, and then sword is like DPS.
Okay. So if I have a sword that's like vampiric and it does like crazy regeneration as a result,
yeah,
and then I find a sword that does better damage and maybe has a bonus to a stat that I don't care about, might that still count as better?
It would show a red in the slot that it's going worse at.
Okay.
So it would demonstrate that if it's better or not.
That's cool.
Yeah, and like I said, it just helps move the game like towards what it was supposed to be. Where the change is good though. All right, so being on the console, it does lose that classic Diablo feel of being a pure PC game. You know, holding a controller, using the joystick, you know, it definitely loses that feel. Having the dodge roll ability affects the effectiveness of the long range attacks because everything is now a lot more loose. And I have a video later that I'll demonstrate some gameplay and point these issues out. But it's really jumpy, the lock-on system, and you can't stay really targeted too well on the console version. And there's crowding on screen, which can be an issue. So depending on the size of your TV, it really affects like what you're looking at because the game is so explosive and like in your face that your eye gets really distracted easily. All right, so here's an example of crowding. And like I said, depending on the size of your TV, but as you get more like abilities, they start stacking, they start taking up space. I mean, your focus will always remain in the middle, but it's a lot on screen for one sitting, you know? And it's kind of, the reason they had to do this was because, I mean, it's a necessary evil, I guess you could say. You know, it's one of the sacrifices you had to make in order to get it onto the console. Like, how would you be able to see someone's, like, stuff without putting it on screen, you know? And when this is a really light amount of enemies, but there can be, the screen can be filled with enemies, too. And that would be this would become a major issue in, like, Nightmare mode or Chaos mode. I think the two ones.
Yeah, what about when the enemies get like highlighted too, like blues and stuff like that? Like,
yeah, it's just it becomes kind of a mess to like pay attention to. Yeah, Parker.
What benefits do you get from seeing your allies' abilities?
You could see. Well, I mean, it helps to know what their damage, of course. You could see their type of abilities, and you could say, "Hey, can you use it on this section?" and stuff like that. So, I mean, it helps with like strategically playing. So, I mean, it's more so for like a really experienced player.
Parker's question, I think he's thinking that this is like online and not co-op, like on like a split screen type of deal. Like, this is all on the same system, right?
Yeah, this is on one screen, same system.
Yeah, so I mean, you have to know your stuff, and if you're playing as 4 people on one screen, you have to know what your stuff is. So if you're the 4th player, your stuff has to be on there while the 1st player is.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be. They're trying to make it like a sit on the couch multiplayer co-op kind of experience.
Don't they also do the same thing in League of Legends, except without having the Steam abilities?
Kinda, but it's like I said, you have to see it on the TV because this doesn't give it justice for how big it actually is. You know, so I'm not exactly sure what screen this was taken off of. I mean, I play on like a 40-inch, and I think it's an issue. So, another thing is though, they do have colors around the players, which does help, and the players are all labeled, so I mean, you can keep track of where everybody is. But I mean, like the green really stands out. This is kind of faded, and so is the orange. I mean, maybe that's just the picture, I think, but no, it kind of looks faded, and it could get lost in like the mist of the battles. So.
I don't know if you get to this later or not, but if you don't get to it later, how do you target at range? How do you click on something at distance?
I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. Oh, okay, so yeah, it's coming up right now actually. Okay, so I'm about to show you some gameplay and talk about, and it'll really demonstrate like the dodge rolling and how loose the actual targeting system is. So.
No, I just.
Okay, I don't need any audio. All right, so what I wanted to focus on was see how they turn red, and let me go back to that too.
Oh, weird.
Is
Yeah.
that the target?
Yeah, that was the targeting.
Yeah, screw it. Check all of them.
So watch how jumpy it is. It'll go to that guy right there. You saw that? That's so messed up because he's at close range. Why would it be so jumpy to jump to that guy?
I guess it.
I mean, at close range, I mean, this game is pretty awesome, but if it's jumping to players that aren't even like within 2 feet of you, you know, it's like it's pointless. So, yep.
Yeah, I think it would be more of a problem for ranged characters.
Oh yeah, no,
I
get to that in here too.
Yeah, if you're a close range.
But there, he was doing some dodge rolling and stuff, but.
Yeah, like if you're trying to lock onto like a treasure goblin,
Yeah.
it seems like it would just be frustrating if there's a lot of monsters on the screen.
Mm-hmm. He's demonstrating some inventory quick select too.
That's so cool.
And yeah, it's really smooth. It's really smooth. It's really nice, and there's some demonstration of like the DPS, the shield, and the heart. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit to the Demon Hunter. Here we go. All right, so this is a Demon Hunter. She's a long range. And you want to focus on the blue, whenever you see a blue arrow, that's her targeting. But sometimes you don't see who she's targeting. And that can be an issue too. They just turn red when they're targeted. So and that attack right there is just, it's probably chosen just to make it look like long range is pretty much in sync, because all it does is just destroys any enemy in its path and just skips on to the next one. And I think that's why they chose to demonstrate it pretty much, to like kind of hide how loose the targeting system was. Here's the... Okay, and now I want to get to some crowding. All right, there we go. Now this is a better a better look at like what the crowding looks like. Because while you're getting abilities stacked and everything like that, you're also picking up items, so that's going on top of that, and it's just you can lose track of where everything is and what's going on so easily. And yeah.
This is crazy.
This is awesome, and it reminds me of Gauntlet, but like compared to the PC version, like this looks crazy. Like,
Oh, the visuals are absolutely fantastic.
Like,
That's one thing they got down perfectly.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'd lose myself in all the characters, or like with all the characters on the screen at once. It'd be ridiculous. It might be because of the art style. Like, everything's so dark that your character just melts into the background with it. But it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it happened on the PC version, at least for me. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
I'd be playing and I get confused and think I was someone else or wonder what was going on.
I don't think I died, but really I was still alive.
Yeah. What was that?
The particle effects are so bright that they force you to focus on those, and when you're trying to refocus back on your character with everything going on, it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like that laser, every time I see that, my eye is just immediately drawn to it. And like if I was, say, the archer, I'd have a hard time finding myself afterwards.
Definitely.
Yep, right here. Look at that. You don't even know who you're targeting because everything's covering it up.
They should have just made the characters like super bright and the colors that they have. Totally glowing. Glowing blue, glowing.
Everything's black and white except the characters.
Yeah. Characters the only thing that
You just get lost.
Oh, another thing is you can either respawn. You can just respawn at your character, which is really nice. I always love that. And there's no like graveyard or anything that you have to travel from. It's just like wait like 5 seconds and then you can come back.
Yeah, on the PC version, you had to go back to some point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can choose the town too, so you can do either or.
Okay.
Another thing is, I think it's when you do the drop-in co-op play, online play, your loot is not affected at all. So everybody gets different loot.
Oh.
So you never have to worry about like, oh, is somebody taking like all my stuff? Like, because when me and Brandon played, of course, like it was funny because I was like, I feel like I'm just taking all the loot. Why aren't you taking any of it? He's like, oh, well, we both get our own loot. And I was like, oh, wow. And like that was a really cool feature in my opinion. Just because you don't lose out on anything that possibly could have dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still encouraged to pick everything up. You don't have to worry about it.
And this is one of the beginning levels, but yeah, I couldn't really. The beginning of this really was the only time they really demonstrated the dodge roll. I feel like since this is more of a professional representation of the game, they tried to avoid it a lot because when you do dodge roll, like the targeting changes with it.
Oh.
So that's why it's really loose, and yeah, you can see how jumpy it is right there, like because it's yeah. So that's a boss fight too.
How much does it help the player, like using it defensively? Like,
The targeting?
the dodge roll.
Oh, the dodge roll. It's kind of pointless.
Okay.
It was. It's just a nicety. It's not necessary at all. It was because what are we gonna do with the right analog stick?
Oh.
Pretty much.
You don't think there's any other reason for it?
No.
Like, it doesn't help during boss fights or anything?
It does not really help at all.
Because like this fight in particular.
You get abilities that you can just move swiftly away. I mean.
Oh, so like using like the wizard's teleport or something?
Mm-hmm.
It's a redundant feature.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, I wanted to go over if anybody had any questions or anything like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, they really changed like some stuff that might seem minor, but it really helps with the pacing. And like I said, the crowding is kind of a necessary evil. So I feel like they had to sacrifice the screen so that they can get the enjoyment out of the players and the multiplayer experience. So, any questions? Yeah.
With that, is it enjoying for the split screen or local multiplayer then?
Oh yeah.
If with the crowding and everything, it's still enjoyed.
It's just it's a little nuisance, but I mean, other than that, once you get into it, you're into it. It really just catches you right away. Just pulls you into it. So.
Even into like chapter 3 where there's like the snow effects and the ballistas and all that kind of stuff where it seems crazy.
Yeah, because they give you powers and abilities like nonstop.
Okay.
It's nonstop. Literally, you can. I don't even have all of them yet, and you can just keep building your character and see what works in different combinations. Like each ability has an ability for the ability. Like, there's like at least 4 for each ability. So I mean, there's so many different things you can choose to work with. So once you get into how fast the customization is and how quickly you can implement it into your gameplay, then it really just makes you want to keep playing and see what else changes.
Are there any other changes you would make? Like for specifically moving to console, like you said?
You know, I think they pretty much nailed it. It was what I would expect.
Yeah.
When I see like a game like that go from PC to console, I mean, they pretty much nailed everything on the head, and they did the best they could with that, like the space they had, you know. And I definitely think they fixed all the issues pretty much. Like the loot dropping, I didn't even get to that. The loot dropping in the console version is so much better. Like you will get something worth holding on to out every 5 minutes. I would say.
That's more like old Diablo.
Or stuff that everything becomes useful in it.
Yeah.
Everything becomes useful because of the crafting now. So you can just work on like creating jewels and stuff like that, which was lost in the PC version because everyone would rather sell the stuff and make money. So.
In the PC version, crafting was, I mean, even before I started using the auction house and realizing how much money and how much better the stuff was, I didn't really use the salvaging and crafting, the jewel and all that kind of stuff. I started out using it, and I spent a lot of money trying to upgrade it and all that, but it just didn't seem worthwhile. So what did they just keep it as is and remove the auction house, or did they make it better too?
Well, because the auction house was removed, that means, well, hey, now I just sell all of my gear for gold. So now all the gold's going in your pocket, so now everything's easier to upgrade within the blacksmithing and crafting. Okay. So it just really affected how everything flows now. So instead of everything being slow, it kind of sped up the crafting process for it. And the crafting itself, you got a lot better items when you created it.
Oh, okay.
And
because on the, at least in the,
it's worth crafting.
Okay. Basically. I stopped playing around patch 4 or 5, I can't remember, but at that point you could always find something better than you could craft.
Yeah.
So now it's more the other way around.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Parker?
You said that you had like a rare item every other drop.
Yeah.
Do you feel that kind of takes away of the excitement of getting a rare item? Because like in like Borderlands, if you get a really good gun after fighting maybe like 20 guys in the boss, that you get excited about that, saying, yeah, this is worth the achievement, this is worth the effort I went through to get it, as opposed to just killing like a minion and then getting the super weapon right off the bat.
Not at all actually, because it you can, like I said, you can craft it, and each item has like a different amount you can get for salvage, I guess you could say, for each item. So it helps with that. And there's so many like different stats on each item that it might not be the best fit for you. So getting one that's actually useful might come like a little bit later, but you do have like a lot of options. So
Yeah.
that was what I should have said. You get a lot more options from
Yeah.
the loot you get.
I definitely agree with that. There's sometimes you'd have a really good weapon that you got from a boss fight, and then halfway through the next chapter you find like a normal item, but it did like double the damage that your
Mhm.
weapon did. So you're like, well, do I take a normal weapon, but it's so much more powerful? And then you slowly, you're always upgrading. I personally find that to be kind of exciting.
Yeah, that makes it a lot more exciting because it's like, oh, there's a lot more rares, so I have a lot more to choose. You're just getting a lot more rares to choose from. Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, like, if you played like the console ports of Torchlight, like, which do you think Diablo did more like a port than Torchlight did, or?
I'm not too familiar with Torchlight, so yeah, I wouldn't be able to compare the two. Unfortunately.
What would you do with the right analog stick since dodge is kind of funk?
Fix the targeting from being so loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. There would have to be. I would say you would use it in the direction that you want it to go.
Kind of like steering a mouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep it like in a straight line. That's the direction. And then it would hit like the nearest enemy to it.
Do you think if they just replaced the dodge roll with using the right stick to target, maybe clicking the right stick to lock your target on that like specific character, would that be superior to the dodge roll feature?
I do and I don't. It's kind of you'd have to like play test it for sure, because the game is really fast paced. So even though it's too loose, it does stick with that fast paced feeling. They just needed to tighten it up a little bit more, I think. That's why I would say like no actually clicking to lock on.
That's actually a question I had related to that. Is there an ability to like lock onto a target?
None that I've come across.
Okay.
Brandon, have you come across a lock on ability in it? No?
Oh.
Yeah. Nothing, but I mean, like with long range, your shots get a lot faster, so the speed it's pretty jumpy as well, but it's really cheap.
Yeah.
Like it kind of gets old towards the end if you use long range,
Okay.
because it's like it doesn't. You can set like 5 traps in front of you, just step back and just hold like R2, and it just like a sprinkler just takes them all down.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is there, I guess my last question would be, is there anything that works really well on the console that maybe they should bring back to the PC? Or for Diablo 4 PC?
No auction house.
So you like that?
Yeah, no auction house. Don't force the player to always be online. Like those were the 2 major things. They took away from the game so much. So.
Well, huh?
They removed those for PC as well.
Getting rid of the auction house on PC, that's what we're doing next year.
Oh, okay. On the, I don't know if you played the past ones, but Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 were just like notorious for hackers and cheaters. Like, you would, like, I could start a new game in Diablo 1 online, and within 5 minutes have like the best equipment, not because like I earned it or knew how to cheat it myself, but because there was always someone somewhere who was like, let me kill you once so I can take your ear, which is a weird thing, and I'll give you the best armor in the game. Like, okay. So having it so that it's always online prevented you from being able to cheat to that extreme. Do you think taking always online off adds that possibility back in? Is that
I feel you're always going to have the players that want to just skip ahead.
okay?
I mean, I personally like to enjoy the game how it was meant to be. Like from the designer's perspective and everything, not cheat and like try and get ahead of everybody. Like that's just no. I want to earn it.
Yeah.
I want to earn it. And I feel like you're always going to have the people that just want to skip everything and just get ahead. So
Does that disrupt the experience though? Because if you go online saying like I want to do this legitimately, and you group up and the other 3 people are like all super uber equipped.
Yeah, kind of. It does. It does. At that point, I mean,
So what's the advantage to taking off the always online feature?
I guess it would be kind of the fact that you just wanna enjoy it by yourself. You wanna just take a run through and get the mechanics down and learn your own strategies
Okay.
and not be embarrassing online, I guess you could say, and not get a reputation for being a bad player. Because I've had that happen in World of Warcraft so many times.
Additionally, like with the always online feature, it takes away like something a lot of people did with the earlier Diablos was play offline when they didn't have internet or something. If you don't have internet access, you're essentially not able to play the game.
Yeah.
Or if like the servers are down, you're restricted by essentially Blizzard's time rather than yours.
So that's a really good argument in favor of removing that requirement. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I don't have anything else. Does anyone else? All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.